Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about the Starship Troopers role-playing game from Mongoose Press, our publishing. Now, first I'd like to thank Tim from Samway7 for sending me a copy of this game. It's kind of cool. And if you'll know, I just got this like last week. I did not read this book cover to cover. It's the D20 system. I'm really familiar with the D20 system, the OGL. So I basically wanted to read and see how they had adapted it to the Starship Troopers universe. You know, a gritty, tactical, modern combat kind of a game, as opposed to the much more loose fantasy, high heroics kind of, sword and sorcery that the game was originally designed for. Basically, can it pull it off? I wanted to know. And I think that they have succeeded. They've done a decent job of emulating that level of grittiness that you find in real combat. The gentleman recently talked about godlike and liking the fact that people can be killed with a single round, because that's how, war happens. People's limbs get blown off. They shot, with a single bullet, and just at random. It doesn't matter how powerful you are, you can die. Well, this, in a similar way, succeeds at that. They do it by really restricting hit points. Your first level hit points are going to be like 10 or 12. Okay, that sounds, okay, you're thinking, alright, that's not that bad. Lots of first level characters can have 8, 12 hit points. That's not too bad. But after first level, you're only going to be getting 1 to 2 hit points per level. No con bonuses. So this means, a 10th level character can only have 20 to 30 hit points. That's a big difference from your standard OGL game. They've also done a pretty decent job of presenting military training, I thought. The basic mobile infantry character only has 10 levels, after which you become a specialist, and that reflects military training fairly well. There's the basic training, essentially, your core skills, and then you become some kind of a specialist of one variety or another. Potentially more than one over time. They have a psionic class in here, which has 4 different disciplines, which streamlines the OGL style psionics, which is fine, because the psionics in the Starship Trooper universe are much simpler, much more subtle. There isn't as much flash and bang, you're not casting fireballs and things like that, and there's no teleportation. It's all much more subtle, the kind of the classic scanners style abilities in many ways. It's still well executed, and I think it fits the universe concept very well. So I think that they have succeeded, and in particular I enjoyed the fact that their mobile infantry armor is actual armor, as opposed to the live action film where it was just like body armor worn by modern soldiers or in cops. Now the mobile infantry armor in this is sealed, body enhancing, sense enhancing suits, turning each individual mobile infantryman into a really significantly dangerous foe, and that's cool. Now, having said that, and I think they succeeded, and I still have problems with the Starship Trooper universe. Then there's 2 reasons. First is intergalactic warfare, or interstellar warfare, I should say, is silly. It makes 0 sense. None. The galaxy is huge. There are like 100 billion stars in our galaxy. There could be 100 races in our galaxy, and they could expand forever. And they will go extinct before there's ever any reason for any conflict to arise. And if there is some strange reason that they have conflict for some inexplicable, event, why would you use ground soldiers? And they talk about limited use of nuclear weapons in this. Cool, I understand that. Nuclear weapons are dangerous. I wouldn't want to use them either. Guess what? Rocks are cheap. Asteroids are cheap. You just start chucking rocks at your enemy's planet. And you keep chucking rocks at the enemy's planet until the enemy's planet is dead. Combat becomes ship to ship in space, and if your enemy doesn't have enough ships to defend their planet, then it's just an engineering problem. How many rocks can I chuck at the enemy's planet, and how fast? There is no reason for mobile infantry. I've been scratching my head about that since I first read the book, I don't know how many years ago. It made no sense to me then, it makes no sense to me now. The other problem is that the Starship Trooper universe, Star Trek, is a blatant, out-and-out fascist state. The Federation is a fascist government. And I have a real problem with that. They have stratified themselves into two completely distinct social classes. The citizens, those who have served military training and have earned their citizenships. And the civilians, those who have not served in the military, do not have a citizenship, and do not have the right to vote. Now, for some strange reason, people seem to think that the citizens who have the right to vote are all in the military, ex-military, are all the police, most of the teachers, all the politicians. For some strange reason, they wouldn't just dominate the civilians. I'm telling you, folks, since the age of the Greeks, when one class of people can vote and another class of people can't, one become the masters, the other become the slaves. So from the gate, this is a non-starter for me. These people are fascists. They talk about the fact that, the Federation was formed to stifle and just, wipe out prejudice and conflict on Earth. They never really talk about how they do that. How do you just wake up one day and decide, okay, we're not going to have religious conflict. We're not going to have political conflict. We're not going to have social conflict. How do you do that? It's never really explained. Just a hand wave and, the fascists have come in and taken over. So, yeah, I've got a real problem with that. I've always had a problem with it, and I probably always will. I don't like the Federation. I don't care how much spin you put on it. The only reason they continue to survive is they have an endless, ceaseless war with every single alien race they encounter. Which is really convenient now, isn't it? It's 1984, except written so that the oppressors are the good guys. And I didn't like it when I first read it. I don't like it now. So, if you're looking for a game that lets you use the OGL to run tactical combat in a modern or actually futuristic setting, this game's going to deliver without a problem. If you are looking for a sensible kind of system that shows how people get along in a future time, this isn't it. If you're looking about conflict resolution between alien races, this isn't it. If you're looking for a system where all people are considered equal under the law, this isn't it. So, while I find it an intriguing game, I could see myself using the rules here to emulate, tactical combat in a future setting, or even a modern setting, I want nothing to do with the Starship Trooper universe as far as the politics and their inability to relate to any alien races in any other manner than a target.